What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to be doing a new tail light install. Yes, you heard that right. The Alpharexes are getting retired. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say one thing. Since my last video, I have been sponsored by one of my favorite companies to exist, and that is Morimoto Lighting. For those of you that have followed my 4Runner's evolution, you will have seen that originally I started with the OEM headlights, and my first upgrade was changing the bulbs to LED. And while it made a difference, I had a lot of people flashing me because they were super bright. And in addition to that, the housing was getting a little old, so it started fogging up and just didn't look, as good as they could have been. So I was on the hunt for aftermarket headlights, and I stumbled across a few brands that piqued my interest. I gave a few of these brands a couple tries. I installed their aftermarket headlights in my vehicle, and there was just issue after issue, so I ended up getting rid of them. And ironically, when I was having all these issues, Morimoto released the XB Evos for the 4Runner. So I ordered them immediately because I wanted to give another company a chance. And I'm thrilled that I did give Morimoto a chance, because the XB Evos for the 4Runner are, in my opinion, the best headlight you can buy for this car. The light output is unmatched, especially with the superchargers. They're just super bright, but because Morimoto put a lot of time and effort into developing these lights, the cutoff pattern is perfect. So you will not get flashed if you have your headlights aimed the right way against oncoming traffic. I have the superchargers on here. Nobody flashes me ever. So again, they put a lot of time into refining that cutoff. That way oncoming traffic won't get blinded by your lights, while maintaining the brightest headlights on the market. In addition to those two things, I live in the north, and a lot of my viewers also live in the north. And one issue that we face on a seasonal basis is snow, ice, and freezing rain that likes to stick to the headlight housing. Now, why is that an issue? Well, when you're driving and that stuff freezes to your headlight housing, it obstructs the beam pattern from projecting properly. So you'll notice a degradation of light output on traditional headlights. Well, Morimoto revolutionized the game when they put heaters in the headlight housing that you can turn on with your light column by just flicking it back and forth 4 times. So yeah, just Morimoto really thought about everything when they made the XB Evos, and I'm so happy that I went with them. And that's why I'm changing my taillights out. The Alpharex that I have, I think these are the red smoked version. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I get a lot of compliments for them. They're pretty good looking. I don't have any complaints about them, really. But when I got sponsored by Morimoto, I'm like, you know what? I really love my headlights. I think it's time to make the switch for the taillights. So I ended up getting the Morimoto XB Gen II red lens taillights. I'll show you guys what those look like in a second. But this is the newest gen taillights for the 4Runner that Morimoto makes. They do have a blacked out version or a smoked version, but I wanted to get the red lens version because these, they're like the red smoked, but I've noticed that during the day they're a little hard to see. I've been told from numerous people that have been driving behind me that obviously I know. So I wanted to go with something a little bit lighter, easier to see, and also I feel like there's too much black contrast on here, or dark colors, so I want to just give it a little bit of a pop, if you will. So I got the Gen 2 red lens ones. So now I'm going to open them up, show you what's in the box, and then how to get them installed. All right, so this is the box opened up. You have obviously some protective cardboard we're going to put to the side. There's a little thank you slash picture of the taillights, both smoked and red lens, and then an install guide. You have this wire right here, which is for a reverse booster light that you can purchase. I did not get it, but I think I'm going to get it in the future. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And then you have the tail lights, which I will show you a little bit better of a view once I get them taken out. But for the purpose of this video, you're going to need just 3 tools, really 2. You're going to need a 10mm socket, a ratchet, and then a little pry tool, which I'll show you what that's for in a second. But let's get these bad boys installed. We're currently looking at the driver's side of the vehicle. The first step to remove your OEM or aftermarket taillights and put in the Morimoto Evos is to remove this panel right here. So with a pry tool, if you just get behind it like I am, it pops right out. Now, with that 10mm that you have, you're going to access 2 bolts that are here. They're a little hard to see, but there's one down here, and then there's one up top. I've already loosened this one for sake of time, but you're going to take those 2 bolts off, and then once those bolts are loose, you can pull the taillight out of the housing or out of the back of the vehicle, however you want to phrase that. So I'm going to finish removing these bolts, and then I'll show you what that looks like. With those 2 bolts removed, there's really nothing holding these lights in place other than these pins that go into the body of the vehicle. So if you grab it right here and then grab the inside and pull back, they do release. So the next thing that you need to do is obviously remove the connection from the taillights to the vehicle, and then you're ready to put the new ones in. We are ready to install the Morimotos. So I took them out of the plastic bag that they come in. I'm going to leave this protective film on here until I'm done with the install, but there is a little tag that needs to be cut off, so I'm going to cut that off real quick. Alright, so that's been cut off. These are ready to install. One thing I recommend is before you install it, keep the plastic on it, but take it off from areas that might get pinched between the body of the vehicle and the light when you put it on. If you just remove it like so, when you go to install it, you won't have issues with it getting stuck. So it's just one plug. Obviously the process would probably be a little different if you were installing that third backup light. Like I said, I'm not doing it right now. I do have plans to do it down the road, but for the time being, I'm just going to get these installed. The wire. So this one actually will route through this top hole, not the bottom one, because of where the light is placed here, the wiring for the light. So I'm going to route it through the top, and then on the inside of the vehicle, I'm going to grab the stock plug and just plug them in together. All right. Now that that is plugged in, I'm going to pull the excess wire through, and then just push this gently into place. You're going to take those 2 10mm nuts and put them on the stud on the other side. I'm just going to put them on by hand right now, and then I will tighten them down with the tool at the end. All right, so I ended up pushing that into place. The connection, I already plugged it in before I pushed it into place, and then went to the back side and I put those 2 10mm bolts back in, and then I put the cover back on. So this side is done. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm not going to film it because it's the same exact thing, but once I get it installed, I will then show you guys the sequence of all the lights and then what they look without the film on them. The taillights have both been added on, so now I'm going to peel off the plastic. Man, do those look nice. Woo! Man, that looks awesome. Before I show you the different light patterns with like brakes and turn signals and all that, I know at the beginning of the video I said that the Alpharex taillights that I had no complaints about them. I actually just saw one that, after like looking at these, it kind of clicked. The Alpharex taillights have 2 rows of lights, and the brake lights are red, but the turn signals are also red. I would prefer the turn signals to be amber, just because that's more indicative of a turn signal, but unfortunately they don't have that feature, whereas these, even though the whole housing is red, you'll see here shortly that the turn signals are yellow. So when you lock it or unlock it, these 3 light up, and they're actually amber. So watch this. And then you'll see the difference when I hit the brakes. It's just a different color. So that's the lock. This is the unlock. It's got the sequential like the front headlights as well. So this is with the taillights on. This is with them off. And then this is with the brakes. So this is when you're driving at night. You have the light on the outside, and then when you hit the brakes. And then during the daytime, when you're driving and you hit the brakes, this is what you get. Alright, now, this is the hazards. Again, you have that sequential. And then same for the turn signals. And then this is in reverse. So you can buy a third brake light that goes right above your license plate. I just didn't get that yet right now. I don't know if I'm going to get it in the future or not, but yeah, this is what the reverse lights look like. Anyways, guys, that was the install for the new Morimoto Gen II taillights. Really feel like these complete the look of the car with the XB Evos that I have in the front. Yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. And if not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.